we got a chance to go, hopefully, maybe field another team, USA team, to go hit some of these the GPs, I think that would be a really cool.
Welcome to WMX Inside. Today we have a very special guest, Jordan Jarvis. Like the video, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it with Jordan on WMX Inside. Hey Jordan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Jordan or JJ?
Either or.
At what age did you ride a bike for the first time?
I started riding when I was 5.
Do you remember your first race?
I don't, but I do remember some situations growing up. Obviously, they don't really have a women's or a girls' class when you're that little, so I was racing in the boys 4 to 6 classes and stuff like that. I remember getting a pretty good win. It was a big step for me. There were some pretty fast kids at the time. It was a mud race, and I've always been fairly tall for, I guess, women's standards. And I felt pretty good on the bike, and I ended up winning in a pretty gnarly mud race, so that was pretty cool.
When did you realize that you could become a professional rider?
Probably around 10. I made it in the 50 class to Loretta Lynn's. And at the time, I was the only female to have done that. I'm not sure if they've done that since, if anybody else has, but when I did that in the next year or two, probably, I think I won my first title at Minios, the Mini Olympics in Florida. So that was pretty good. And then my first year in the girls' class at Loretta's, going into it, we didn't have too many expectations. We knew I'd be pretty close to the front. But in practice, I actually had the fastest lap time by like over 3 seconds. So it was a pretty dominant lap time. But I actually ended up getting hurt, so I didn't end up being able to compete. But that kind of set me on the track to where I am today.
In 2018, you won the WMX US title and you won at Loretta's. How did you experience this season?
I didn't get to race too much of the WMX this year. In 2018, when I won that, unfortunately, it was kind of dying off. That was the last year that we had it for a while up until this year. It was different. When I ran the WMX, then I was the young kid. That was bothering everybody else. So that was cool to get to ride with some of them. There were still some of the women that raced in the WMA when, Jessica Patterson and Ashley Folick were, still around. So it was a cool dynamic to get to race with some of the older girls like that. And then flash forward to this year, getting to do a couple of the WMX races. I've now realized, I guess I'm now one of the older ones that's getting bothered by the young kids. So it's cool. They're definitely keeping me on my toes. Like most athletes, I don't like to lose, so I've been really working hard to try and make that not happen anymore.
You were crowned very young. Um, how did you experience the pressure around you after this title?
I mean, there's always pressure. Maybe not just, obviously, like I said, everybody wants to win. But it's more than that. You work so hard for something, and you work for so long that you want to prove to not just everybody else, but you want to prove to yourself that what you're doing is worth it, and that um, you are good enough, essentially.
You participated in a WMX World Championship round in 2020 in Great Britain. Tell us about your experience.
That was a wild race. I think I honestly really enjoyed Matterloo Basin. I think that's a really cool track. I would love to go back there again. This time when it's not ridiculously muddy. That year it was a pretty gnarly mud race. They canceled one round of practice, so I flew over, and Bud Racing Kawasaki was gracious enough to lend me a bike for that race. but I wasn't able to get over beforehand to test that bike any. So I showed up not having any time on the bike, getting one practice in a mud race, and then going straight into the mains, into the motos, excuse me. Um, it was interesting. It was it was really cool to finally get over there and race against all those women over there. You know, they obviously are very successful. They've got a fantastic career over there. But they're not kidding when they say Europeans are really good mud racers.
You won again in the US in 2020 before the WMX US Championship stopped. Everyone expected you come to the WMX World Championship the following year, but that was not the case. You did not have an opportunity.
I I wanted to. I still do. I want to get over there for a full season. I was kind of hoping that when I went over and I raced Matterley Basin, I didn't have the best results. I ended up on the ground more than I wanted to, obviously. To Daytona International. I didn't get any offers. And I'm unfortunately not in the ability to where I can afford to do that myself. So if I could get some help to get over there, I would be over there in a heartbeat. I would love to get a chance to go race that. I've always loved getting a chance to go ride other tracks, especially in other countries. It's really cool that motocross is so widely experienced throughout the world. Everyone loves motocross. So it would be really cool to get over there and do that. I think I'd do pretty well. You know, obviously Van Dronen came over here for Minios last year. She came over this year, but I ended up getting hurt. But she came over last year, and we were running her pace. The second moto of the outdoor class, I was running identical lap times to Van Dronen. So that was pretty cool. I would like to go see if I could go over there and possibly fight for a win would be awesome. So eventually I'll get back over there.
Last year, you participated in the GNCC Championship. How did it go?
It went interesting. I have never ridden woods before. So I kind of got into it, and I don't want to say I got thrown into it. But I definitely didn't have as much prep time as I would have hoped. But it was cool. It's the whole different world. Woods racers are they're badass. They're definitely good at what they do. It's hard to explain without experiencing it yourself. Um, you know, you go out there and you're racing with your class, but you also have 200 other bikes out there as well. So you go through it one time and you think you find a good line through the trees and the roots and the mud and everything like that, but then you come around the next lap and it's completely different. So it was challenging, but I think it taught me a lot of bike control and patience and just kind of letting things come to you and not really pushing it in spots that could cost you a lot. So it was a good experience.
The WMX US Championship has been back since last year.
Yep.
I know that your dad and you had played a role in this news. Was it important for you?
Um, it was mostly my dad. I think I think more so my name helped get it back. But my dad put in the work and the time and the effort and everything. And it was really cool. It was really cool to bring it back, and hopefully we can keep building it. This year with the schedule finally announced, the WMX races are going to be at the Men's Pro National. It's going to be on Amateur Day. Um, but it's progress. It's a step in the right direction. Um, so hopefully we'll get back on Pro Day eventually. But for the time being, it's going to be good. It's going to be a really cool experience. I've been lucky enough that I have raced the Men's Pro Nationals, so I've gotten to see the tracks already and get to ride them. So it's really cool for some of the younger girls coming up who haven't had that chance yet to get to kind of experience the same thing.
Last year, you finished fourth in the WMX Championship by missing 3 races and you won the Badger race. You finished on the podium at Loretta's and Mainioas. How do you analyze your season?
I missed some of those races due to racing the GNCCs. So that definitely hurt my chances for getting a podium for the overall. But overall, it was a good year. The race I did win was a sand track, and I've always been fairly strong at sand tracks, so that was a good little confidence boost for me. But overall, it was an alright season. Going from woods back to motocross was a bit of a challenge. I I had to change a lot about my riding style and my riding technique to fit the woods aspect of it. So it was hard to break those habits again and get back into the motocross side. And I just did not have the time on the bike that I really needed to be riding where I should be riding. I was definitely not quite up to speed. But this year I'm really putting in a lot of work on the bike, and I'm putting a lot of time on the bike. So I think this year is going to be a different year. I think we're going to be fighting for more wins.
Are you getting ready to compete in the FIM Oceania Women's Motocross Cup in Australia at the end of the month with Team USA? Excited about this new opportunity?
Yeah, this opportunity is awesome. I don't think that uh, the U.S. has sent a female motocross team anywhere, especially not a 5-rider team. So that's really cool. That's another step in the right direction for women's motocross here in the States. Um, yeah, we're all getting ready for it. We've got a really, really strong team. 4 out of the 5 of us finished top 4 at Loretta's, and the 5th rider won the WMX East Coast for the Canadian Series. So we've got a pretty strong team. I think we're gonna turn some heads once we get over in Australia. I think they're gonna be a little surprised, maybe even a little heartbroken. The goal obviously is to win, but even more so, the goal is to have an All-American podium, which would be really cool.
You have already competed in the MX of European Nations with Jamie Studio, now the Women's Cup. Do you think the MX of Nations should be created for women?
Absolutely. I think with what me and Jamie did over there, I think that was really cool. It was tough having to kind of borrow a bike in a way. We rented them, but you never really know what you're gonna get when you do something like that. I mean, we had a blast. It was a tough race. Definitely favored the Spanish girls for sure. It's not a track that we have over here in the States. It was super, super hard packed. They really didn't do any track maintenance, which wasn't necessarily a problem. But over here, we're used to them tilling the track super deep, like getting really deep in the dirt, so we get some gnarly ruts. There wasn't any of that over there. It was just super, super hard, a lot of flat tracking, and they like to put a ton of water down. So it was definitely challenging. It definitely tested me and Jamie for sure. I was really bummed with myself. I think I fell one moto, and then the other I just had a bad start. But I was really bummed that I couldn't get up in battle with the front 3. I think I finished 4th in both motos. I want to say my lap times would have put me definitely a lot closer to him, but you can't win if you fall and get a bad start. So that's definitely something I'm working on.
This year you will compete in the WMX US Championship. What is your goal?
The goal is to get back up on top. I didn't have a chance to really back up my championship from 2018. Um, this year or this previous year, like I said, I missed the first couple rounds due to me racing the wood stuff for the GNCC side. So I'm gonna get the full season this year, and the goal is to hopefully come out and win.
You had obtained your Supercross license. Do you think that the creation of a women's class would be a good thing?
Um, maybe not. Uh, it it's definitely challenging. I think that's something that is not widely accessible for most people. I've been pretty blessed with what I've been able to compete in and experience myself. Um, I've been doing basically all forms of motocross for my entire life. I've been obviously riding motocross since I was 5. I started racing arena cross, which is basically smaller supercross, since I was 12, 13. Um, so I've been really lucky with some of the cool opportunities that I've been able to do. But I think that would probably hurt us right now more than help us.
Do you will participate in other races this year?
This year, I think I'm gonna probably be all over the place for races. Not doing any Supercross this year, but I'm gonna do all of the WMX. I'm gonna do Loretta's again this year, and then I'm actually gonna try and do a couple of the men's pro nationals as well. And I would love to get up to Canada and race some more of their women's class up there, and I would love to go to Europe if I could, but that's gonna probably have to wait until next year.
It was my next question. Is the WMX World Championship still a possibility for you?
Absolutely, I would be ready to go in a heartbeat if I got the call for some sort of a ride or an opportunity to do that. I think that would be really big for me. I think that would do a lot for not necessarily my career, but for my ability. And I think there's always something you can learn on a dirt bike. I don't care who you are, how good you are. There's always something you can learn. And I think riding with new people, riding at new tracks and stuff like that, I think that would teach me a lot.
What is your opinion on the development of women's motocross?
Um, I think I think right now, we've got a really talented group of women. Um, I've actually told quite a few people this recently. I don't think there's ever been this depth of talent in the women's class. You know, it's normally one or two really strong women. Right now, we've got 4, which is crazy. Um, and I think it's going to keep going like that for a while. I mean, personally, I know I'm getting older, but I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. And there's definitely some promising girls coming up now, starting to move up and get into the bigger bikes and stuff. So I think we're doing really good. I think if we got a chance to go, hopefully maybe field another team, USA team to go hit some of these the GPs, I think that would be a really cool idea that maybe to kind of show that we might be, across the sea a bit, but I think we could probably hang with these girls a little bit more than we get credit for.
What advice would you give to a young girl?
Do what you have to do. Motocross is not easy for men or women, and you're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna doubt you. But as long as you can keep yourself positive and keep working towards what you want, and not really let too many people whisper in your ear about doubts or what you should or shouldn't be doing, I think regardless of what happens, I think you'll have a successful career.
What is a typical day for you?
I try to ride a couple days a week. So if I can ride, I'll get up and go ride for a while, come back, do some bike work and stuff like that. Um, I try to work out every day as well. Um, just honestly, all revolves around dirt bikes. I'm either riding a dirt bike or working on them. So, um, yeah, just really trying to better myself this year and really working out hard in the gym. And like I said, I'm riding more than I have had the chance to in recent years. Um, so yeah.
So now it's time for rapid questions.
Yep.
Favorite place to ride?
Mm. High Point National, Pro National.
Best friend in the paddock?
Mm. Probably Jamie Asadio right now.
Uh, if you weren't a motocross rider, what sport would you do?
I would probably have played soccer.
Two-stroke or four-stroke?
Probably 4-stroke.
What's your all-time favorite motocross memory?
My favorite motocross memory was probably my first year I got invited to Monster Cup. The second moto, I ended up going down off the start, and I was down for a while. So by the time the checkered flag came out, everybody else had cleared off the track, and it was just me, basically in front of a whole stadium. And I'm assuming the announcers were talking about me, talking about how I was the only girl that year, and stuff like that. And as I was coming across the stadium to get the checker flag myself, the entire stadium went absolutely crazy for me. So that was probably my favorite memory.
Why did you choose your race number?
I've had a couple different ones over the years, but I got my recent one from a friend of mine. He was killed when I was 10, I think, and he raced as well, and he was like a big brother to me, and that was his number. So I decided, well, his number was 30. So when I turned pro and I needed a 3-digit number, I just added a 1 on the end of it.
Favorite holiday destination?
Mexico.
Favorite app on your phone?
Probably TikTok.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for your time. It was a real pleasure to chat with you and learn a little more about you. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Jordan, do you want to add some thanks?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It was awesome to talk to you. Hopefully I'll get some more women's GP experience here shortly.
Where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's JJJordan30. I'm on Facebook and TikTok as well. You can find all that on my Instagram.
And if you wanted to help Team USA, merch is on sale. All links will be in description. Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Thank you.